But first, we turn to the collective, what is a national nervous breakdown, a temper tantrum underway among Democrats, their allies in the media mob, and all of their anti-Trump allies. The president is now reportedly planning to announce his U.S. Supreme Court nomination this weekend, and breaking today, well, it appears the Senate will have enough votes to move forward with hearings and a vote on the president's nominee. Now, keep in mind, there have been 29 vacancies at the U.S. Supreme Court during presidential election years, and a sitting president has nominated a replacement all 29 times. It would be unprecedented for this president not to do his constitutional duty, nominate a replacement. And as failed presidential candidate Amy Klobuchar accidentally tweeted, quote, "The people pick the president nominates the justice. That is how it works." Well, Amy, you're exactly right. Thank you. And when the same party controls both the White House and the Senate, well, the approval rate is exceptionally high. 17 out of 19 past nominations have been confirmed in that scenario. Now, there's little that Democrats can do other than make threat after threat after threat, but these threats are scary and they're real. When you think about their psychotic rage, their hysteria, well, just when you think it couldn't get any worse, think again. Today, a very unhinged Speaker of the House, in name only, Nancy Pelosi, claiming that she could impeach this president every single day of the week. Wow, that's going to be so good for our country, don't you think? Take a look.
What is your power to do this? I get the election, but you can get up more, you can speak out more, you can do more impeachments, things like that. Do you have enough power?
Well, we can impeach him every day of the week for anything he does. In fact, for
right.
200,000 people dying. Well, because, look, the American people want to know what we're doing that affects them directly.
And while Nancy Pelosi is ranting and raving about impeachment, the media mob, they're vowing to blow up, their words, the system altogether. Take a look.
Thinking about the Supreme Court, because we've lost that battle. And I don't want to talk about the Republicans anymore.
The fear of this will destroy the Senate, this will destroy the Senate, I would say it's sort of like people saying, hey, climate change is coming. No, it's not coming. It's here. The Senate. It has been destroyed as we know it.
Boycott the hearing, not take meetings with the nominee. So we want to see the Senate Democrats fight this nominee tooth and nail.
No matter what happens, everybody sticks with their team.
We're going to have to blow up the entire system. You're going to have to get rid of the Electoral College. Because the people...
I don't see it.
Because the minority in this country decides who the judges are and they decide who the president is.
But you need a constitutional amendment to do that.
And if Joe Biden wins, Democrats can sack the courts and they can do that amendment and they can get it passed.
Do you hear what they are telling you that they want to do? For example, the unethical practice called court packing. That was last attempted by FDR, and Franklin Roosevelt tried unsuccessfully to add justices to the U.S. Supreme Court in order to usurp the powers of the judicial branch. In other words, Roosevelt was trying to expand the number of justices on the Supreme Court, fill the spots with individuals who would just rubber stamp his agenda. In that scenario, the Supreme Court would become useless and no longer serve as a co-equal branch of government. Our important constitutional system of checks and balances would be completely destroyed. But on Monday, Joe Biden refused to say whether or not he supports the illicit practice of court packing, telling a local reporter, quote, "It's a legitimate question, but let me tell you why I'm not going to answer that question, because it will shift all the focus." Joe won't even release the list of potential Supreme Court nominees that he said he'd release. Joe doesn't answer any real questions. Pretty pathetic how the media mob, state-run papers, state-run broadcast television, fake news cable channels, also state-run TV, allow him to get away with all of this. And meanwhile, his radical far-left running mate, that would be Senator Kamala Harris, telling the New York Times she is absolutely open to packing the court. And multiple far-left media outlets are all but begging Democrats to, in fact, support court packing, including, let's see, New York Magazine, Vox.com. Radical Democrats, the media mob, well, they don't seem to care about any precedent. They don't care about the Constitution. They don't care about the Bill of Rights. They don't care about co-equal branches of government and checks and balances. And they're now threatening to literally stack the courts and the Electoral College and the legislative filibuster, impeach the president, as Nancy says, every day for any reason. And, oh, yeah, they also want to impeach the attorney general while they're at it. Democrats do not care about our great system of justice. They want to burn down the system, and they're saying so. Believe them. For them, the only thing that matters is power. In 42 days, well, actually, the power lies in your hands if it's an honest election. And by the way, part 2 of my monologue straight ahead will cover the Democrats' latest despicable, pretty repulsive, disgusting anti-Christian attacks on a potential Supreme Court nominee.